Hello everybody, this is Dee from Dee's Cute and Crafty, and I am back with a video for you today. I have three pieces that I'd like to show you. We are moving into spring decor, so I have a door hanger, I have a wall piece that's pretty good size, and then I have one that's just pretty much a leaner. So let's just jump right in. We're going to be using one of the Dollar Tree wood rounds, ribbon of choice, jute cord. Going to be doing a little bit of drawing or hand lettering. I've got my Apple Barrel White, my Waverly Steel, and I also have the Hello Hobby in Maize. So I'm going to start out by removing the jute cord from the wood round. This one is a little bit different for me because it is not straight, and you'll see what I mean in just a minute. I'm going to go in with this yellow maize chalk paint by Hello Hobby and give it a real thin coat. And then I'm going to take my black polka dot ribbon along with my yellow ribbon. And I love the way the black polka dot and the yellow mix together. That is so pretty how it just pops. That's always a good combination. So I'm just going to make a bow. You guys know how I do it. I make my loops and then I stack everything. I make my tails. I pinch it together. I tie it off with some jute cord. So we're going to be doing that. Excuse me. You guys, I know it's been a minute since I had a video up. If you can tell by my voice, I have been sick. I have been sick as a dog. I don't know if one of my patients got me or, just out and about got me. I don't know, change of weather, but I have been sick. I have been down for 4 days. Coughing, sneezing, nauseated, migraine, the whole deal. So thank God I'm back. I'm still a little bit under the weather, but I'm better than I was, and I'm on the mend. So please forgive me that you have not seen a video in a while, but I just could not do it. So anyway, back into the video. You may hear some coughing, a little bit of deep breathing, heavy breathing. I'm doing the best I can. Excuse me. So now we're just going to make our bow. Very easy to do. I make my bows this way like 99.9% of the time because it's just quick and easy. I never have a problem with them. They always come out really pretty. I love this combination. I'm going to have to do some more with this, maybe some honeybee decor using this color together because I think it's so pretty with the polka dots and the yellow. So now that I have my bow done, what I was telling you is that this is going to be a little bit off-centered or to the side at a diagonal. Normally when I make these wood rounds, it's either left or right with a split down the middle or top to bottom with the split going horizontally. This one, I decided to split it diagonally. The design of the sign is on a diagonal, so it's a little bit different than what I normally would do, but I thought it turned out really cute. So I just put some additional holes in the top of the wood sign so that I can tie my bow on. I like to tie the bow on so that I don't have to use a lot of hot glue. I'm taking my little paint container and I'm using it to give me a half circle, maybe a little bit more than a half circle. And here's what I'm talking about when I said I'm doing my sign on the diagonal. So the top portion of it, just going to hand draw in like a daisy or flower of choice. And I'm just giving it some long petals with a little bit of waviness at the bottom of each petal. And when I paint it white, you'll see what I'm talking about. But we're just doing a little flower. I like doing everything in pencil. Of course, I can erase whatever does not make my eyes happy. I can erase it and start over. And when you do that on paint, it erases nicely. If you draw directly onto the wood, it doesn't erase so well, but you could sand it off if you had to. This is just easier. So I started out with the jute cord after I got my flower drawn, and it's just a half flower coming off the side of this sign. I started out with the jute, but then realized the jute was going to get on my nerves. Again, I'm under the weather. I'm not feeling so great when I'm editing this, so excuse my voice. But I noticed the jute was going to get on my nerves. It was going to take too long to go around and around and around. So I got rid of the jute, and I just went in with some nautical cord. It's thicker. less time getting to fill in that circle. Now that that's hot glued down, I'm going in with my white paint and I'm just going to paint my flower. So you guys, I hope you had a wonderful Easter. I I did not. I was home alone for Easter with being as sick as I was. I did not let anybody come over. I made Howard stay. Well, I didn't have to make him stay. He wasn't coming anyway because whatever ick I had, he didn't want. So he stayed home. He spent Easter with his family, his mom and his nieces and nephews, sister and brother-in-law, which I was supposed to attend. But again, with me being as sick as I was, I didn't want to take that to anyone. And I couldn't go out anyway. And then my youngest daughter, I would have spent Easter with her if I wasn't going to be with Howard. But as sick as I was, again, I did not let her come over. I stayed away from everybody. So for Easter, I was just here, sick, alone. But it's okay. I slept and I needed it, very much needed. She came by and dropped me off an Easter plate. She brought me all of the goodies that they cooked. She barely walked in the house. She dropped it on the counter. She had her mouth, her nose covered, and she said, "Love you, Mom, bye." And she zipped right out of here. But I was grateful because when I did start to feel better and I could eat, it was nice not to have to cook anything. So anyway, back to the video. Now that my flower is all painted, I went in with a little bit of gray paint and I just defined the petals of the flower a little bit more. And then I went in with my pencil and I wrote "Choose Sunshine," which was perfect for this sign with all that bright sunny yellow. And now I'm just going in with a Sharpie and making everything nice and sharp so we can read it. And now that that's done, I'm going to go in with some melted chocolate. And this is by Apple Barrel. And I'm just going to fill in that nautical cord. I thought that I would like it in the natural, but it needed to pop. So I decided to just paint it chocolate. And then I took some of that ribbon and I cut it down nice and thin, the black polka dot ribbon. And I'm just going to cover up that line that I drew with my pencil. And I'm also defining the two different portions of this sign. I think that really made this sign turn out really cute. You can add some greenery to the top of your sign if you want, but I decided to just do the bow and I'm doing it off to the side. And normally my bows sit on either the left or directly on the top. So this is different for me to put the bow kind of on the right hand side. But I thought, let's try some new things. So that's why I did it. How cute is she? Put your hanger on the back and she is ready to be displayed. And again, this sign is not meant to hang straight top to bottom or side to side. It is made at an angle. This is inspiration. If you guys don't want to do your sign this way, you can separate it or split it up any way you want. But I thought that this was different and I thought that it was cute and I love it. Is it my favorite of the three? It is not. If you'd like to know which one is, you're going to have to keep watching. As always, comment down below and let me know which one's your favorite. Moving on to DIY number 3, you're going to need a bunch of spring flowers. Any flowers you have, just grab them. We're going to use these up. I will be using ribbon of choice, that same Apple Barrel white paint. I have a bead that I'm going to use, and I have these peel and stick letters. I have cardboard, of course, and I've already cut out my shape of an umbrella. I did it in 2 separate pieces. And then I have this craft paper from Hobby Lobby, and I am just showing you all the choices I have, but I'm going to go with the pink. And then I have this leftover fall sign from Dollar Tree. I wish I had one of the ones that was just brown so that I wouldn't have to paint it, but I've used all those up. So we're going to use the black one. And I'm going to take my peel and stick letters. It says Welcome Spring. And I'm just going to line them up the way that I need them. I'm going to use a piece of masking tape to give myself a straight line. And then I'm going to peel these letters off and stick them down. After I get my letters all placed where I want them, I'm going to go in with my Apple Barrel matte white paint and paint over those letters. I did have to do 2 coats of paint because this sign is black. If you guys have anything else you can use other than a black sign, use that, because it's not easy to paint over a black sign in the white paint and get the look that you want. I didn't paint the bottom part where the pumpkin is, and I don't know why, because I ended up having to go back and paint it. I thought that the umbrella would be big enough to cover it. It was not. So I had to go back and paint that. But here you see I've peeled up my letters, lifted them up, and look how pretty that came out. Nice and sharp, crisp, just like I like it. And because I'm not really pleased with the white on top of the black, I'm going to distress it a little bit just so some of the black shows through, because it's kind of trying to show through anyway after 2 coats. So we're just going to make it look rustic, like it's supposed to be that way. And just wiping down the dust from the sanding process. And then you'll see here in just a minute, we're going to go ahead and get our craft paper onto the cardboard. We're just going to use a Jot glue stick to do that. We'll get everything traced out and then cut out. And then I'm just going to glue it down. Very easy. And you can see where the pencil marking is, where I gave definition to the umbrella. We're going to do the same thing, just using jute cord to do that. Just when I was hand drawing it, I put in the details that I knew I wanted when I drew it, so that I would remember to do it when I actually cut it out and made it into a 3D piece for the sign. Now I'm going to take my jute cord, I'm going to wrap the handle portion of the umbrella just to give it some definition, some detail, some 3D, some farmhouse, some cuteness, all of the things that I love when I'm creating. So I'm just going to wrap that up and set it aside. And now I'm going to give my umbrella definition. Just going to add some jute cord in all the places where the vanilla. Wow. I don't have any idea why I'm thinking vanilla. Where the umbrella would normally have those metal pieces that hold the umbrella open, that's where I'm going to put my jute cord. I'm also going to do the scalloped or the dipped top edges of the umbrella. I'm going to trim those out with the jute as well. You'll see that I went back and did that when you see the final reveal of this piece. So see how the umbrella doesn't cover all of the end piece that I didn't paint? Yeah, I had to go back in and fix that. So now that I went back and I fixed it, I'm going to hot glue down the handle, and I'm going to add 1 tumbling tower block on top of the handle. I'm going to add 2 tumbling tower blocks at the bottom of that sign, because it's going to make your umbrella sit evenly. And I want some lift to the umbrella so that I can tuck my florals down inside of the umbrella. Now this part I want you to do differently. I put my umbrella together. I should not have done that first. It made getting the flowers in a little harder. So go ahead and place all your flowers. And I know it's kind of hard to place them when you can't really see how they're going to look coming out of the umbrella, but I want you to place them first onto the sign before you add the umbrella portion to it. You can hot glue your handle down. That gives you some reference as to kind of where the flowers should sit around the handle. But it just makes it so much easier to just place them on the sign, add your glue, and get them all glued down, because you can see what you're doing. Or you can actually put all your flowers down and staple them down. You don't really have to hot glue them if you do the flowers first and then hot glue your umbrella on top of your flowers. Because the way I did it, it was a little more messy because I had to add the glue to each flower stem and then tuck it down in and try to press it down with my finger inside of the umbrella. It's just easier to see what you're doing if you do the flowers before putting the umbrella on it. That was a long explanation, but I felt like I needed to say it. Anyway, I'm just loosely placing my flowers in so I can get a look at where they're going to sit. I'm making my bow the way I always do, nothing new with that. And now I'm going to remove all my flowers out and go about the tedious process of hot gluing them to the umbrella. So you see what I mean? You can see what I'm doing here. I have to put a little bit of glue down the stem of each one and then press it to the sign, to the white part of the sign. And I really am doing this blindly because I can't really see um, inside the umbrella. Even if I stand it up, I can see if I stand it up, but then you guys won't be able to see. And I didn't want to do that. But I managed to make it happen. Here it is, all done. And you can see I went back in and added more detail with the jute cord where the umbrella scallops at the top. And this one, I'm just having it sit. If you want it to be a sign and you want to hang it, you're going to have to weight it evenly, meaning the side where the umbrella is very heavy. So you're going to have to add something to the back on the opposite side to keep it from tilting. You need a counterweight or a counterbalance, but mine's just going to sit. It came out really cute. I hope you guys like it. Moving on to DIY number 3 and the final one of my video and my absolute favorite. I have some spring tulips and I have some Spanish moss. I have 2 of the berry garlands that I've already put together as a wreath. I have the Waverly Antique Wax, some paint stir sticks. I have a craft stick that I cut in half. I have some cardboard, of course, because it's my favorite. I cut out some little cardboard hearts and a cardboard house. I have one of the little wood hearts from Dollar Tree. So all I did was punch holes in my cardboard hearts to match the wooden heart. And I have this big piece of cardboard that we're going to put everything on. And I have some Dollar Tree wall art pieces, those wallpaper pieces. I have 2 of those because I love this country barnwood look. So instead of painting my cardboard, I'm just going to place this wallpaper onto the cardboard. I love the look of it. I love how easy it is to use. And we need 1 whole piece and then a very little bit of another piece to cover this cardboard. Smooth it all down and then add your second piece. I'm only removing the backing of the piece that I'm going to use so that I have this whole piece to save for another DIY. I'm just going to cut this down and put that piece away. I'm going to trim off what I don't need and set it to the side. And now I'm going to stain all of my pieces using the Waverly Antique Wax, all of my wood pieces I'm going to stain. And I love using a baby wipe to do that because it's just one clean movement. You don't have to brush it on and then wipe it off. You apply it with the baby wipe and everything is done. I'm going to take this piece of cardboard that I cut out into the shape of a house. We're going to make a little birdhouse. And I'm just going to dry brush it with some of the white apple barrel paint. I'm going to leave a lot of that cardboard showing through because I love the look of it. And you can do this any color you want. You don't have to do white. I'm doing a neutral look where the only color that I have that pops through is my greenery and my soft pale blue flowers. But if you want to do your birdhouse colorful, you can definitely do that by adding some craft paper or painting it or even fabric if you wanted to. So now that I have that done and set aside, I am going to put my trim on this picture, or not picture, piece of wall art. I'm going to add my wood pieces, my paint stir sticks. Just going to hot glue those down. And then I'm going to take my berry garland wreath that I made, and I'm going to staple it to those paint stir sticks. Stapling it is much better than trying to hot glue it. I'm going to put a staple on each side and then 2 staples at the top. I know that I'm out of frame, but this is a pretty large piece, a fairly large piece, and my workspace is very limited. So at the bottom, I wrote in pencil, Hello Spring. And again, just as like the DIY before, I'm going to go in with my Sharpie and darken everything up so we can see it. And now that that's done, I'm just going to hot glue my little birdhouse to my sign. And you see how the color is very similar to that wallpaper. It's okay. I like it. This one is absolutely hands down my favorite. I know that it looks like it's blending in quite a bit, but when we put the roof line on, which is in the antique wax, it'll pop. Again, do your birdhouse whatever color you choose. This is just inspiration. So now I'm putting my flowers on the side, and I am stapling my flowers down. And everywhere that I put a staple, I then went back in with a little dab of hot glue, and I used one of the leaves on the greenery to cover the staple. And I'll do the same thing with my tulips. I'll tuck them in where I want them, cut off any of the stem that I don't need, and then I will staple those down. And everywhere that that staple shows, I'll take a dab of hot glue and I'll cover it up with some of the greenery. Now I'm adding the roof onto my little birdhouse. And here are my 2 hearts. Now, if you don't want to cut out cardboard hearts, you don't have to. I just find it like free, cheap, inexpensive. You can get this for pennies. So you can buy the Dollar Tree laser cut hearts and use those. That would be pretty. But I love the rustic look that just the cardboard hearts are giving me. I don't know. I'm feeling this vibe. So I'm using the cardboard hearts. You could use wooden hearts, whatever you have on hand. You can color your hearts. They don't have to be white. They can be blue like your flowers or whatever florals you use. I just threaded my jute cord through the hole, tied a knot in the front of each heart, hot glued the hearts down to the picture, and just tucked the jute cord underneath the paint stir sticks at the top. I didn't even put any glue up there. I just took a flat whittling tool and I just tucked it under the paint stir stick. So now I'm just going to add my moss at the bottom. I'm just going to hot glue that down. And I decided that this piece of wall art needed a bow at the top. Of course it does, because I put a bow on almost everything. But you guys, I'm going to add this bow, and I love that it plays into the neutral color of this piece and also has that really, really pretty pale blue that matches my tulips on the side. So I didn't have enough to do a proper tail for this. So I just cut the ribbon in half because it was so wide. And then I dovetailed the ends of that. I'm going to go ahead and make my loops and tie that off to get my bow. And because I had to cut the ribbon in half, I'm just going to staple it to the top of this picture or this wall art, and then add my bow in the center of those tails. And it worked out. And all I need to do now is add my hanger in the back, and this little beauty is ready to be displayed. It screams spring to me. This would be so cute with a couple of little eggs um, in that Spanish moss. It would be cute if I had a little bird that I could set on here. I didn't have a little bird, but there's so many things you could do to that DIY. This is the final reveal of everything that I've made for you today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your love and support. Thank you for waiting on me while I was sick and there was no content. Love you guys to the moon and back. Appreciate you. Give this video a big fat thumbs up. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Do all the things. And until I see you in my next video, you guys, be blessed. Stay safe. And craft something beautiful today. Bye.